Hi everyone, some gamer dude here. Some people say I like living in the past. I see it as the past has a lot to teach us, and part of that is listening to the people that have been there, done that. I love watching, listening to, and reading interviews about bygone eras of card games from people that have worked on them in some capacity. From notable names like Mark Rosewater or Mike Elliott, to the topic of today, Christopher Creed. If you haven't heard of Christopher Creed, I can't say I blame you. The game he is attached to hasn't been printed in 14 plus years. But it still continues as a fan-run game to this day, and that game would be WWE Raw Deal. I've mentioned Raw Deal a few times in the past now, as it's a game I'm quite interested in. I've developed a more pronounced interest in pro wrestling in the past few years, and we wouldn't be here if I didn't have an interest in card games. Raw Deal in particular interested me when I discovered it, due to the similarities it has with other games I've played, including my own work. Enough that I did draw some inspirations from Raw Deal, and tried out some things it did. I didn't keep many of them, but I'm glad I tried them. While I've yet to play Raw Deal properly, these experiments gave me something of an understanding of its game mechanics and playstyle. This interest in Raw Deal led me to not only finding the Team Canada online boards and the Raw Deal Discord, but the Vela Cards YouTube channel and one video in particular. Let's talk WWE Raw Deal Episode 2, Raw Deal Extraordinaire, Christopher Creed. These videos are all quite interesting to listen to. I've literally spent hours doing so. But this one in particular struck me because of just how interesting Christopher Creed is. Not only for his views, what we're talking about today, but the stories I can relate to given what I've heard from others and experienced myself. Christopher Creed is not a game designer or card designer in the traditional sense. He was a fan that got his foot in the door by learning as much as he could about the game, enough to clear up rulings for the development team, and through that became the rules manager and playtester. After Raw Deal ceased printing in 2007, he would take the lead on the fan development team. Virtual Raw Deal, as it's been dubbed, has been quite successful, doing something the printed game could never achieve, getting most everyone viable. So let's get to the point. I'm sure you've heard this phrase before many times. When everything is broken, nothing is broken. It's used as an excuse to justify game warping power creep being taken to its logical conclusions and asserting that if everything is raised to that power level, the game will balance itself out. She'll be fine. A lot of us do not like this logic as it completely warps the feel of the game, but I've never heard it articulated quite like how Creed puts it. The quote in context is to do with a Kofi Kingston card that was exceptionally strong. I went to the trouble of transcribing this part of the video and have it on screen now, but I'll talk about it in more general terms. Creed essentially said that while you can make the argument that when everything is broken, nothing is broken, you have to consider what is lost in the process, and what is lost is interactivity and substance. He compares it to skipping to the end of a book. You have the start and the end. You miss the satisfying part of the story, the path to get there. I think many of us can relate to this from many different perspectives, as most games end quickly once power creep takes hold. I really think most of us focus on that, what we can feel and see. The game isn't the same, the game is over quickly, there isn't enough meat to sink your teeth into anymore. But why this struck me is I very rarely hear people talk about the other side of the equation. What is lost in the process, and why losing that is a negative thing. We say it's not the same anymore. We say we don't like what it's become. But being able to articulate it like this is very important. It's an actual argument. It's not raw feelings. From that base, we can graph the scenario in question on top, the result being a solid argument against what has changed in the game. I think that's a very useful tool to have in your arsenal. Saying that, I'm not sure what good this actually achieves. It's not like any of us have any real power to course correct the games we play, and there usually isn't anyone in our communities with the power or desire to do so. Truthfully, I think it's a more important lesson for us game designers. While I think in design you can slow down power creep through either a concentrated effort, ban lists, or rotation, I'm not sure how avoidable it really is. Things have to keep wowing to sell after all. As we know things are getting more powerful, we can ask ourselves that question. What is being lost? Is the interactivity still there? From there, we can start trying to maintain that interactivity, preserve what people liked about the game in the first place, preserve the game's heart and soul. I know today's video isn't the longest or most in-depth video I've done. I honestly struggled to say much more than just put it forward. But I wanted to share this quote that hit me, give context to those not familiar with the game or person, and explain why it hit me. There is something else in this video that is very important, as it also relates to Magic the Gathering, Cardfight Vanguard, and many other long-running games, but I feel that's a topic for another day. I'll leave a link to the video in the description, timestamp to the quote about the "if everything is broken" mantra. But I think it and many other videos and Vala cards are worth the time to watch. There is a lot to absorb from many of them. Till next time, this has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.